Hi, I'm Derek Gallegos. My personality for Myers-Briggs was ESTJ. Basically, I was an extrovert, and really I felt that come out in the filming of this video. Once I got on camera, I felt like I was able to bring a lot of energy, smiling. I enjoyed being on camera. It's kind of fun being a center of attention for a little bit.
Derek, he showed up on time too. We all made the commitment like 2 weeks ago, and we're all here, ready to go. He brought textbooks, which was nice because that's what we were talking about in our project, and he had like props for us to use, which was nice, which added to the video.
Derek, he was really great because he kept on just having ideas when we were trying to come up with the script and stuff. He was really instrumental in trying to make the script cohesive and really trying to put the important information that needed to be there. So it was really awesome. I really enjoyed working with our team.
Derek, he was also very talkative, and he was able to be more open, and he wasn't reserved or shy on camera, so that was also good.
Hey, my name's Heather Carney, and my Myers-Briggs was ESFP. Really extroverted, and I think we had a lot of fun because we all just kind of mixed together, and we worked well, and it was just more fun that everyone was a little more outgoing with this, and we didn't have to pull somebody into doing something that they didn't want to do.
Heather was, you could tell she was extremely extroverted. She started smiling, jumping around, laughing a lot. She brought a lot of fun to the
For
program.
example, Heather was really animated on camera, and she was very expressive, and so it wasn't hard for her to do a good job on her part of the video.
Heather, when we were doing this filming, the very first scene, and she was walking down the stairs, and she was like, "Oh, I don't know if I like this angle as much. Why don't we try doing it this way?" And we kind of shifted things around. So that was really cool.
Same thing with Heather, you know, it's a lot of work to get the resource information and like background information about textbook prices and different places you can get them, but doing the research and all, she got it organized. She took care of her business.
Hey, hi, I'm Joshua Lewin, and as my Myers-Briggs score would show you, I was ENTP. Which means I was extroverted, so while we were filming and stuff, I had the opportunity to really have to be outgoing and direct people and be confident in that. So that was one area I was able to really kind of use that skill. But I was also intuitive, so when you're doing filming and stuff, you have to really think ahead and kind of have a bigger picture of what the video is going to turn out to
No,
look
but
like.
Josh was really reliable. He brought all of his cameras that we needed to do this. If he had showed up without it, we wouldn't have had a project to do today. So that was really helpful, and he came prepared with like batteries and everything.
Josh, also, he seemed a little bit more introverted at first, but then once we started filming, you could tell he was really in his element. He really likes cameras. He's very passionate about it.
I would say I'm a thinker, and I really try to think critically about, you know, the different shots. So when I was filming the infomercial, you really have to think, well, how would filming it from this angle affect how people perceive the whole picture? So I always try to be thinking. I'm also perceiving, so you have to be really flexible when you do this kind of work, and you don't always have the best conditions. We spent like 20 minutes walking around trying to find a place. There weren't a bunch of people walking around. There weren't buzzsaws going off. We started a little bit of stuff. So whenever you work on this kind of stuff, you have to be very flexible and willing to try out different things.
Hi, I'm Fazila Chowdhury, and on the Myers-Briggs type indicator, I was an IST. And so I was very introverted compared to the rest of the group, or at least I was more introverted than they were. And because of that, I was a lot more reserved on camera. I had a little bit of trouble speaking in front of camera, but usually it just takes me a while to warm up to a new situation, and then once I have warmed up a little, I can do better.
Fazila she seemed introverted to start, but then when she got on camera, she warmed up a lot.
But Fazila, you know, she was great. She was here right on time. Walked through the door. We were ready to go.
Fazila, we were also filming a shot, and she was able to really kind of bring her own personality into it, and that helped a lot because the video kind of wouldn't stir without that, and she wasn't afraid to speak up and really kind of stand up for herself.
Being on camera usually stresses a lot of people out. They don't tend to want to be on camera because it makes them uncomfortable, but because of our selected project, that's kind of a requirement, and so Fazila in particular, she wouldn't go out of her way to be on camera. You know, she doesn't. That's not her personality. That's not what she wants to pursue. But whenever she was asked, you know, to handle a stressful situation, she did it without hesitation. You know, it's part of it, and the openness to experience also comes in there because you know you see like the willingness to try something new and maybe go beyond your comfort zone.
And I was also right on the border of judging and receiving, so I didn't lean one specific way. And because of that, I felt that I was pretty disciplined in terms of getting things done and staying focused. But I was also still flexible because when you're working on a project like this where things can be pretty unpredictable, you have to be slightly flexible and you have to take a more open approach to things. So I think that it helped that I was right on the border of judging and receiving.
Hello, I'm Christian Watson, and my Myers-Briggs score was ESTP. Because of my Myers-Briggs score, I think that would lead me to be pretty good on camera, but I feel like my skills are better utilized behind the camera and making things look the way I want them to look.
Christian was very detail oriented. He was kind of just into the zone, like here's what we needed to do. Make sure we stayed on task.
He had his GoPro, he had everything we needed. He showed up on time, we were looking at places, he already knew the building, so he kind of had an idea for where we wanted to film.
Christian and Joshua were also very high on extroversion, and even though they weren't in front of the camera for the infomercial part of the video, they were still very good at interacting with us and telling us exactly what needed to be done for the video to turn out well. And so I think that since they were high in extroversion, that was also really helpful for us because they were able to direct us properly.
Editing is kind of more of an introvert task than an extrovert task, whereas being on camera is more extroversion. But I actually really enjoy the more introverted side of video production, and so I think that's just a niche that I have to fill kind of outside of my Myers-Briggs profile. So as far as the group dynamic, neuroticism can be a bit of an issue when getting a group together if there's too much of it. And to be honest with this group, I don't think there's any, you couldn't find any. We really just don't have that in our personality.
I feel like I was really able to see my personality come out in this project. As far as everybody else, I felt like we got along really well as a team. We were able to, see each other's point of views, but at the same time think critically.
We all were very high on openness as far as the ocean personalities. All of us were open to each other's ideas, like, oh, let's film it this way, or maybe we should hold this camera, just things like that. We were all open to what we wanted to say, worked well as a team.
And also, I was a little worried when we started because I'm a little more on the perceiving side. I'm like haphazard and I just kind of go with the flow, and I was a little worried about that. And I think all of us were, because when we started, we had a hard time actually getting started with it. But once we started, we kind of were on a roll and we got it done in time.
We all respect each other, but we weren't afraid to speak our minds. I was just thinking back, one time I was putting the camera in one certain place and Christian was like, well, don't you think we should move it this way a little bit so we have more continuity of the different scenes? And I was like, oh yeah, that's a great idea.
Fazila and Josh, it's kind of just a mellow, chill group of people that don't really see the benefit in conflict and creating problems and clashing and butting heads on things, rather than just being more agreeable and finding a solution that works for everybody and kind of being able to compromise. That's way more valuable in the business world and in this project. So I think it was good to see that and see how everybody came together as a team.
And we didn't necessarily agree with everything, but we respect each other's opinions and we work together because we had a common goal. And I felt like that was pretty much our team's dynamics. Thank you for watching.